Morning and warm welcome to everyone who is watching over this program. And today I am going to start class 10 topic History of the Earth from science subject. So let us begin. You may be wondering how Earth was formed, how Sun was formed. What may be the actual story? It is always the unsolved question of all. So here I am too with this topic, revealing some of the known facts, the scientific investigation and other things. So let us begin. I would like to first look on the screen, then the screen. Something is written, you may see there, it is all about history of the earth. There is no rigid and factual statement about the history of the earth. Means nothing genuine is there actually. Besides just finding some normal idea about moon and nearby planets that rotates or that revolutes around the sun, there is no other specific fact found ever. So, still based on different evidences collected by the study of rocks and fossil as well as their radioactivity, Earth is supposed to have been originated some 4.5 billion years ago. Means Earth was estimated to have been born some 4.5 billion years ago. It is all based on the fact that is obtained by the study of rocks and their radioactivity. Some of the important statistical data about the earth according to the citation in the World Book Encyclopedia is given below. There you can see the table, there is information and data. It is all about the information regarding the earth. You can see estimated age of the earth, that is 4.5 billion years ago. Total surface area, you can see there written in square kilometer. Likewise, area of lithosphere. Lithosphere means part of land. You can see there. And area of hydrosphere, average surface temperature of the earth is 15 degrees Celsius. You can well estimate this, right? The Antarctica or Arctic region of the earth is very cold, where temperature may fall even below 100 degrees Celsius in minus, whereas some very hottest area of the earth like Sahara desert and all the desert have more than 50 degrees Celsius temperature. Sometime it reaches even 70 degrees Celsius. It has been found from history. So the average temperature of the earth is found to be 15 degrees Celsius. Diameter of the earth is 12,756.3 kilometer. In fact, this is the average diameter of the earth. You must know earth is not completely spherical in shape. Just look at this board once. Maybe you are considering earth to be a perfect sphere. It is not the fact, but you can see this is the sphere. Let us consider this is the earth, but in fact earth does not look like this when you go above the space. Means if you are observing earth from the space, earth would not look like this shape. Actually earth is somehow flattened at the poles and bulging at the equator. Let me just figure it out a bit. Look at this structure now. It's a little bit changed. Means some part of polar region is flattened toward the center. So if this is the center, the polar radius Rp is quite shorter than the equatorial radius. See, I mean to say equatorial radius of the earth is longer than the polar radius. What does it indicate? It indicates that earth is not completely spherical in shape. It is flattened at the poles and bulging out at the equator. That is why we need to take average of diameter from these two regions of the earth. The equatorial region this is equatorial diameter and this is polar diameter. So, what we need to do, polar diameter plus equatorial diameter divided by 2 would give average radius of the earth. So, if you find it out in terms of diameter, then it would give you average diameter of the earth, and that has been found. You can see the screen again, that has been found to be 12,756.3 kilometer. So, what about the mass of the earth? It is just an estimation again, but is close to the correct approximation, and it is 6 into 10 to the power 21 metric tons. The mean density of the earth is 5.5 gram per centimeter cube. What does it mean? Just see here once, 5.5 gram per centimeter cube, the average density of the earth. It means if it is possible to put the earth sphere on the sea that is capable of holding earth, then earth would sink down the sea, because its density is more than the density of water. You must know the density of water is 1 gram per centimeter cube. If we consider it to be a salty water like present in a sea, maybe density little bit more than 1, but never it would be more than 5.5 gram per centimeter cube, means earth sinks in water. So, again the next information in the screen, earth has only one natural satellite, and that is of course you know moon. Every night we see in the sky. Some nights we may not see because moon rise time and moon set times belong to the midnight at which we already get slept. That is the problem. We don't see moon sometime in the sky, but usually we see in the sky. That is our natural satellite. It's talking about natural satellite. Otherwise the space around the earth have been launched with many artificial satellites. So, let us move to next screen there. Now, let us talk about various hypotheses regarding the origin of the earth. Actually, I said already to you before, the question about the origin of the earth is always the unsolved question. Different assumption means that consideration, that is not fact, that is just what scientists have thought about the origin of the earth. Assumption have been made by the scientists. Some of the assumptions or hypotheses regarding the origin of the earth and solar system are discussed below. You may see the screen, some 2 hypotheses you can see now in this screen. There are many other hypotheses, but different scientists have put forward their different assumptions. Some of the assumptions have been given much credit and is being published in different books. That may be possible, but not all the assumptions are highlighted. Only few assumptions are highlighted. The first one among that is planetesimal hypothesis or George Uffan's hypothesis. You can read there, a French scientist George Uffan put forward a hypothesis in 1749 AD. According to this hypothesis, the earth along with other planets and satellites were formed when a comet revolving around the universe struck the sun millions of years ago. Means it's a simple hypothesis. Suppose this is the sun, this is the very hot molten mass of a ball, let us say, and it is sun. It is very hot and it contains extremely hot gaseous matter inside, the center of which is very dense and very contracted, and the gravity developed through this contraction is capable of pulling all the surface matter towards the center of sun. Now, many years before, say billions years before, when a huge comet may be of any size, irregular stone but huge. Comet finally approached to the sun and strike it. When comet strikes it, obviously we can guess some part of sun will fragment out. When this comet strikes the sun, some part of sun fragmented into many pieces. These pieces, being the parts of sun, remained around the sun. Finally, these pieces cooled down and became planets, satellites and other heavenly bodies. This is what first hypothesis say about origin of the earth. You may see in the screen again, the earth along with other planets and satellites were formed when a huge comet struck sun billions of years ago. This is planetesimal hypothesis introduced by French scientist Georges Uffans. Okay, next hypothesis, see the screen again. It's about nebular hypothesis or Kant-Laplace nebular hypothesis. A German philosopher Kant put forward this hypothesis in 1755 AD, means 6 years after planetesimal hypothesis. According to this hypothesis, actually this hypothesis was later modified by another mathematician. He was again from France. So, we say French mathematician, he was Laplace. He corrected and brings some modification in this hypothesis later in 1796 AD, many years after German philosopher introduced this hypothesis. Anyway, the combined, after the correction of this hypothesis, the combined form is the sun and the other planets were initially in the form of molecular clouds of dust and gases. Such clouds began to grow by pulling other nearby clouds in the form of nebula. When it became sufficiently large, it started to contract due to its own gravity and developed extremely high pressure and temperature. This initiated nuclear reaction at the core. During the process, outer ring detached from the central core and fragmented into the smaller nebula. The central large nebula became sun and the other nebula around it gradually cooled down and became planets, satellites and other heavenly bodies. Okay, what I mean to say, what this hypothesis mean to say, listen. Actually, the earth, the sun and all the other heavenly bodies that we could see in today's time in this space, in the sky, were initially nothing but gaseous matter and dust scattering all over this universe. It was in the form of dust, like look, if you consider this white board to be the universe, initially there were nothing besides just dust particles or gaseous matter like this. You may see here. Then what happened later? These all smaller dust particles, minute dust particles and gaseous matter slowly began to come closer. They began to come closer and began to make a dense object in the center. This process continued for millions of years, for billions of years, and it grows further. When it grows further to a huge mass, forming a dense object and more denser in the center part, it is called nebula. See, so what is nebula? Nebula is the compacted mass of gaseous matter and dust in the sky. This is considered to be the origin of sun, the earth and all other planets in the sky. When this nebula further grew into even more bigger mass, it developed gravity at its core. because its core began to contract more harder, became huge and compacted matter. It developed gravity. Because of such compression in the center, large pressure and temperature is developed. Because masses were continuously contracted towards the center due to the gravity developed by it, there developed sufficiently high pressure and temperature. That pressure and temperature caused to be the start of nuclear reaction, the major reason for releasing amount of heat and light energy. So, when the center part became huge, became more contracted, compacted, nuclear reaction began here. That nuclear reaction released even more amount of heat energy, and then what happened? The outer surface part detached out from central core. The internal pressure was so high that internal pressure caused this outer surface part to be detached out from this central core, and this detached part began to form nebula around the main nebula. These detached fragments of nebula finally cooled down and turned into Earth and other planets, satellites and other heavenly bodies. This is considered to be nebular hypothesis. Once more, have a look on the screen. I will even put light more on it. I will make you more clear what is nebula and how Earth was formed, even through video media. Just see what is nebula. A nebula is a giant cloud of dust and gas in space. Some nebulae, more than one nebula, come from the gas and dust thrown out by the explosion of dying star. Means the star which is about to die after it turns to huge red giant finally undergo explosion we call supernova explosion. During supernova explosion of stars, many dust particles and gaseous matters scatters all over the universe. You can see the picture, second picture in the picture list. That is all about supernova explosion, gaseous dust matter and things are scattered here and there everywhere. Other nebulae are regions where new stars are beginning to form. The very first picture explain all about this. A nebula is a giant cloud of dust and gas in space. Some nebulae, more than one nebula, come from the gas and dust thrown out by the explosion of a dying star, such as supernova. Other nebulae are regions where new stars are beginning to form. For this reason, some nebulae are called star nurseries. Means nebula is the origin of the star. That is why it is star nurseries. Whenever we put our small kids in school, the beginning class is called nursery, because it is just a part where we make our students learn for the very first time. Likewise, the star originates from nebula. So, the nebula is called nursery of a star. So, look there more about nebula. There is the picture you can see. This is the nebula. The nebula exactly more or less look like that. There you can see the dense part in the center where fire is about to be ejected out, because it is very hot central core, and the region around it is surface or other fragmented matters about to go far from the central core, that will ultimately change into planets and satellites after they get completely cooled down. So, there is the video I will play just to have a very close look on that and try to understand how Earth and other planets were formed. It is just about a minute video clip, but will make you clear about how Earth was formed. It is all dust in the sky. You can see gaseous matter. That gaseous matters are condensed, compacted and contracted close together. This is how the gaseous matter, dust particles and other things finally assumed a shape that may be irregular, but somehow spherical. The contraction process continued. Because of extremely high pressure and temperature in the central core, there starts nuclear reaction that developed very high temperature and pressure in the core. Ultimately, core causes outer surface part to be detached out from central core, and this outer detached part, or say smaller nebula, also sit on the same process as they have formed the star in the middle, and finally because of smaller masses of this detached nebula, other planets and stars were formed, the result of this smaller nebula. Because smaller nebula could not develop sufficiently high temperature and pressure at the core. That is why this smaller nebula around the main central nebula finally cooled down, because no nuclear reaction was initiated. That is why they turned down to Earth and the other planets. Okay, here comes tidal hypothesis or Jeans and Jeffrey hypothesis. Look, this is the third hypothesis I am going to explain, and it explains well about how Earth, other planets and the members of solar system was formed ultimately after Sun. According to this hypothesis, you can see here, this hypothesis about the origin of the Earth was made in 1917 AD. According to this, huge star orbiting round the Sun finally approached it. A large mass of gas was ejected from the Sun due to the tidal effect. While cooling, the tidal matter fragmented into the small pieces, forming planets, satellites and other heavenly bodies. This is how solar system was formed. To demonstrate you more clearly, have a look here in the screen. What happened actually, according to this hypothesis, there was Sun. There was Sun before many billions years ago, say, and a huge star came close to the Sun. Even more huge star came close to the Sun. Due to the gravitational pull of this star upon the Sun, this is Sun, this is huge star. Due to the gravitational pull of this huge star, some masses of the Sun is ejected out like this. This is called tides. Because of this star, because of the gravitational pull of this star, some mass of the Sun is attracted towards it, forming like tides rising up, exactly like what rises up in the sea of the Earth. What happened later then? This huge star went away from Sun without actually striking it. Then what happens? This ejected mass, because it is far from the center of Sun, it finally cooled down. When it cooled down, it detaches out from Sun. It detaches out from Sun, and this major tidal matter fragmented into the smaller pieces. Because this fragmented matter cooled down, fragmented more into the smaller pieces, and were affected by the gravitational of Sun, they could not leave Sun and its region around and its gravitational field. So they finally cooled down, became suitable for the survival of living beings after many years later, and converted into planets, satellites and other heavenly bodies. Okay, this is all about hypothesis put forward by different scientists in different era, different generation, different centuries. There are some more hypotheses introduced. You can go through these hypotheses through your internet media or other sources, encyclopedia or other books. This is all about class 10 cover. Anyway, these hypotheses, these three hypotheses, the first one planetesimal hypothesis, the second one nebular hypothesis, and the third one Jeans and Jeffrey hypothesis were quite famous, quite believed more by the public and the people. That is why they are accepted till now. But maybe some other more reliable hypothesis may be introduced later by another scientist. We just have to wait that. Today this much. I would just like to end today's topic here, concluding these three hypotheses. The next week I may come with some other information and interesting information about the earth and its formation and other things relating fossils. Today I just wish